I just wanted to get along with Emma. The unexpected person who saved me, abandoned by my husband after 15 years of support, was the least likely savior. I am Emily. I'm 40, living with my husband, our daughters aged 14 and 11, and my in laws, making six of us in total. My husband James is 5 years older than me and runs a farm with the in laws. I work in the fields from early morning, help with checking and shipping vegetables until evening. But as a wife, I don't get paid. I also do almost all the housework for six people. James doesn't get much of a salary either, being family, and honestly, our life is not easy. We live in a big country house, and the in laws lecture me, saying, "You're lucky to live in such a large and fine house for free." But there's nothing good about it. It's just a lot of cleaning. Moreover, every weekend, my husband goes out drinking with his friends. Since there are no weekends off in farming, I have to do his work when he's hungover. He spends the little money he earns on alcohol. And if I complain, "Are you saying I don't earn enough?" he snaps back at me. I have often wondered why I even married him, looking down at his snoring face when he's drunk. The reason I didn't divorce him was that I had nowhere else to go. Having lost my parents early, my brother and his wife live in my childhood home. Without a family home to rely on and almost no savings, it seemed impossible for a 40-year-old woman with two daughters to survive. But I had my small pleasures, cooking with the vegetables we grew and the shared ingredients from other farmers and dairies. The ingredients might be irregularly shaped but tasted fine. When I cooked and gave the food as a thank you, everyone was delighted. Thanks to the fresh and tasty ingredients, my children grew up without being picky eaters. My husband and in-laws might criticize my cooking for being bland or poor, but they always finished their plates. The people around us were kind, and I could make and eat fresh, delicious food. My daughters were blessed with friends and enjoyed school. So, despite the worst husband and in-laws, I convinced myself I could live here, supporting my husband for 15 years. Then, one day, something unexpected happened. While working in the fields, a TV crew came to interview us. They were filming a program about visiting farmers' lunchtime, and they approached our house while we were working. My mother-in-law, Olivia, was thrilled, holding the microphone. "Please do! We can't offer much!" And then she whispered to me, "I'm going to put on some makeup, so you start preparing lunch quickly." I went back to the house. Reluctantly, I quickly wiped the sweat off my makeup-free face and prepared the dining table, while my husband, James, and my father-in-law, Robert, awkwardly handled the interview. For lunch, given the sudden visit, I couldn't prepare any elaborate TV-worthy dishes. The TV crew told us to keep it as usual, so I added a summer orange pound cake that I had planned to give away. Then Olivia appeared, lips bright red, dressed in her favorite dress. "Oh no, such a country-style table is embarrassing. Usually it's a bit more glamorous," she said. "No, no, this is an ideal lunch with lots of vegetables. Having so many dishes and even a homemade cake for lunch is amazing," responded the TV people. Sure enough, people on TV are good at flattery. Their flattery, though maybe not sincere, made me happy. During the meal, everyone at the table enjoyed the food, saying it was delicious and finishing everything. I was surprised. I thought they'd just taste a bit and leave it at that. Throughout the meal, Olivia continued to give nonsensical explanations about the dishes, none of which she had made. But as they were leaving, the staff thanked me, not Olivia, saying, "It was incredibly delicious." And they thanked me. Half a month after the filming, our meal was broadcast on TV. Of course, our relatives and neighbors were thrilled, and my phone rang off the hook that day. The in-laws and my husband discussed the staff's attitude and the edited scenes like they were industry insiders. Local ladies commented, "James looks so handsome. He might become a famous handsome farmer." This only made my husband more arrogant. He started going out more often to brag about his TV appearance, leaving me with all the work. I was truly, truly fed up. Then, 3 months after the TV appearance, my now quite smug husband dropped a bombshell. "I've fallen in love with someone else. Let's get divorced." What? Stunned by this unexpected confession, I couldn't think of anything to say. Ignoring my shock, he continued. "After the TV broadcast, a girl approached me. She listens to me so intently, I'm drawn to her. I think she's my destiny. So you're having an affair with her? I asked, my voice trembling. He sighed. No, it's not like that. When I said I'd date her, she refused, saying she can't be with a married man. She's so noble. That's why I have to be pure for her. What is that? So cheating is wrong, but it's okay to divorce and date? It's incredibly selfish. While I was still reeling from his one-sided story, Olivia interjected, sounding exasperated. Just get divorced already. What? I've always thought so. A dark, gloomy woman like you doesn't suit a handsome, kind man like James. When I heard he found a 24-year-old girl, I was sure. She's the true wife for our family. 24 years old? Could a girl 20 years younger than my husband really want to marry a low-income, middle-aged man with kids? Are you being fooled? What? My unexpected remark made Olivia widen her eyes in disbelief. Jealousy because you're being dumped is so ugly. I didn't mean it like that. You're a defective product who can't even bear a son. The new wife, you see, is attracted to James's kind heart and will come to our home. And of course, a younger, more obedient wife who can still bear children is better than an older, barren one. Right, Robert? Yeah, that's right. Robert, usually so unnoticeable, nodded with a pleased smile, seemingly happy about the prospect of a younger wife. Shocked by their words, my husband gleefully added, Yeah, you can take the kids too. I want to start afresh with her. How could you? No need for them to go to high school, right? I'll pay child support till middle school. How generous of you, James. Olivia admired with an arrogant air. Sickened by this whole twisted scene, I ran out of what felt like a hellish home. The thought of my husband so easily abandoning our blood-related daughters for a younger wife made me feel nauseous and empty. What were my 15 years for? How are my daughters and I going to live from now on? Overwhelmed with despair, I crouched down. Then I heard, Mom? And saw two shadows approaching. It was my daughters. Both Ava and Isabella looked sternly at me. They must have been told about the divorce. Ava, Isabella, I'm sorry. Because of Mom, it's Dad and them who are wrong. Isabella yelled with tears in her eyes. Mom, let's leave, just like they said, Ava said, patting my back. Dad is so creepy, obsessed with a younger woman, and Grandma is the worst, always saying terrible things to you. I don't want to stay in this horrible home. It's sad to leave our friends in school, but we can always message them. It'll be tough without much money, but Isabella and I will help with cooking, laundry, and other chores. Yeah, 3 girls together can make it work. Ava, Isabella. Tears welled up in my eyes from the encouragement of my daughters. I have to be strong for my gently raised daughters. How can I, their mother, be downhearted? I must become stronger and make sure we find happiness together. I slapped my cheeks and held back my tears. I decided to divorce and immediately contacted my brother and his wife. Hearing my story, they were even angrier than me and told me to come back home. My sister-in-law, in tears, scolded me for not consulting her earlier. I had been hesitant to trouble her since she's not a blood relative, but I regretted causing her worry and felt grateful for her kindness. The next morning, while packing with the kids, I noticed a commotion in the yard. Peeking out the window, I saw a young woman arguing with James and Olivia. Could that be the future wife? As I watched, she noticed me and came towards me with a fierce look. Is it true you're divorcing James? Yes, yes. Her intense gaze made me hesitate. At my affirmation, she clutched her head and screamed. I don't know what he told you, but I don't like him at all. What? I don't like that delusional jerk, one bit. Really? What's going on? I was baffled by the sudden outburst of the woman I thought was the affair partner. Her anguished cries drew my stunned husband James and Olivia rushing over. Wait, Sophia, you watched TV and wanted to meet me, right? You said I was handsome. I never said you were handsome. I wanted to meet your wife, not some old man. I told you so many times. Me? I was taken aback by her unexpected revelation. Actually, I also help out on my family's farm. Seeing how you prepared all those vegetables so diversely, I really thought it was amazing. I genuinely respected Emily. That was all my doing! Olivia blurted out shamelessly. Sophia glared at her. A grandma in heavy makeup, sitting at the dinner table after farm work, couldn't possibly prepare such extravagant dishes. Heavy makeup? Grandma! I couldn't help but burst out laughing at Sophia's brutally honest words, earning a furious glare from Olivia. I was just having drinks with friends at a tavern when I saw James nearby, so I thought I'd try talking to him, hoping to meet Emily. But then he suddenly said, "If you like me that much, I could date you." I thought he was joking, so I brushed it off, saying, "I can't with a married man." Then he forcefully exchanged contacts, and yesterday he suddenly messaged me saying he'd divorced. So that's what happened. It turns out she was a victim just like me. My husband, who got carried away thinking he was a handsome farmer after appearing on TV, approached a young woman who misunderstood his intentions. How embarrassing. Utterly embarrassing. What? But I thought. My husband, unable to accept that he was misinterpreted, stood there gaping and shifting his eyes. Seeing his pitiful and ridiculous state, any lingering feelings I had disappeared. "I'm sorry for the trouble my husband caused." I apologized, still technically his wife. Sophia quickly bowed her head in response. "I'm sorry for my rashness, but I never expected this." "It's okay. I wanted to separate anyway. This turned out to be a good opportunity." "What?" James looked at me in shock. I'm the one who should be saying what. "Honestly, I think it's better for you to separate too." "What?" James looked at Sophia in disbelief. "Okay, even if you divorce Emily, there's absolutely no chance of us getting married. Don't contact me again. Goodbye." Wait, wait, Sophia! My husband, James, frantically tried to chase after the swiftly departing Sophia, but he tripped and fell spectacularly. Ava, our eldest, who had been watching the whole time, muttered, "That's so embarrassing," and laughed. Ignoring whatever James and the in-laws wanted to say, my daughters and I left the in-laws' house. After staying with my brother and his wife for a while, we rented an apartment in the same town as them. I filed for divorce sooner than expected. The lawyer they recommended was excellent, securing not only my daughter's college fees, but also a substantial alimony due to James's abusive behavior. I was really grateful that the attempted affair, which led to the divorce, didn't hinder us from getting the alimony. Naturally, James and the in-laws, who had lost Sophia, grumbled about the divorce, but the lawyer's firm stance, "We'll see you in court," made them relent and reluctantly sign the papers. Olivia's last words were, "James will find a much better wife than a barren one, or that ridiculous young girl." And then my husband said, "You'll regret this," as he left with those parting words. Thus, I escaped the hellish in-laws' house and started a new life with my daughters. 5 years later. Oh, is this celery salad a new creation? It looks delicious. Yes, it's our top pick for this summer. I run a deli and sandwich shop in a small country town. After the divorce, I worked for a farmer whose owner admired my cooking skills and encouraged me to open the shop. My vegetable-based dishes are popular among the elderly and picky children, and the media attention has increased recently. Every day feels rewarding, especially when customers come all the way from the city just to eat my sandwiches. My daughters, now in college and high school, help out in the shop on weekends. One day, as I was busy with this fulfilling life, James and my former mother-in-law suddenly appeared at my shop. I was not surprised, anticipating their visit since my media exposure had increased. "Emily, you seem to be doing well." "James?" my ex-husband said in worn clothes, smiling familiarly. "I saw you on TV. Proud to have a famous ex-daughter-in-law." Olivia, still in the same red lipstick and dress from 5 years ago, nodded in satisfaction. What nonsensical things are they talking about in the middle of a weekday? "You're not my husband anymore. If you're not buying anything, please leave," I said. "Don't rush. We've come to take you back, James retorted. What? You've done well alone, but you look so tired on TV. I know you want me to rescue you, he assumed. If you love cooking, you can open a cafe in our old house, but you must work in the fields. Oh, and your daughters are of marriageable age now, right? There's a 40-year-old neighbor looking for a wife. Both James and Olivia continued with their convenient delusions. Even after 5 years, these people haven't changed a bit. Before I could retort, an employee emerged from the back. Wow, look who's here! The delusional jerk. What? Who are you? As my husband turned to glare at the source of the insult, his face froze in shock. Sophia? Why are you here? Yes, wearing the same apron as mine was Sophia, the woman James had once tried to have an affair with. Why? Because Sophia's dad is my employer. What? James and Olivia were dumbfounded by this unexpected revelation. Sophia and I exchanged glances and laughed. After my divorce, I had moved back to my brother's town, and incredibly ran into Sophia at a local supermarket. We hit it off, and I ended up working part-time at her family's farm. My cooking with discarded vegetables gained popularity, leading to the opening of our sandwich shop. Thanks to the goodness of abundance you let go, our business is thriving, I said. Don't be silly, Emily. You're the lucky charm here. Sophia playfully responded. James and Olivia were clearly taken aback. Now was my chance to strike. James, I heard you got scammed in a marriage fraud. Did you get your money back? What? How did you know that? James's face turned pale. Apparently, he had been desperately seeking a young, unmarried, and beautiful wife, failing miserably. A supposed ideal match turned out to be a con artist, swindling a large sum from him. They had approached me, thinking I was unaware and could be a free laborer with money. They thought they could deceive me and take me back, but too bad for them. But I had a spy in the in-laws' house who kept me informed. The eggs in this scramble come from Brown's farm, and these tomatoes in the salad are from Miller's. Brown? Miller? Former mother-in-law was flustered. Yes, Brown, the poultry farmer, and Miller, the tomato grower, were neighbors of my former in-laws. All the local farmers agreed to supply my shop. They also keep me updated about you, you know. I smiled with the brightest smile I never showed in the former in-laws' house. However, seeing my smile, they started trembling like old tractors. No way. Scammed out of a $200,000 in marriage fraud? Don't expect any money from me. I'm remarried. What? If you want to take me back, tell my current husband to prepare $100,000 for a divorce settlement. That's impossible. Realizing they couldn't exploit me anymore, they left, pale as ghosts, never to appear before me again. The in-laws couldn't find another wife to exploit, losing their farm and house, unable to pay off their debts. Now, living in a cramped apartment, working part-time at farms, with no savings and insufficient pension contributions. Poultry farmer Brown told me about their pitiful end. Serves them right, he said with a laugh. Brown is a kind person who has always cared for me. My ex-husband and his family were no good, but I believe I was blessed with the people around me. Though my marriage was tough, I was blessed with kind people around me. I once thought divorce meant the end for me and my kids, but it wasn't true. Living honestly and earnestly, there are people who notice and care. You can laugh at such terrible men, my friends say. Life isn't as bad as I thought. Welcome! I hung the blue Norin at my little country sandwich shop, imagining the delightful smiles my sandwiches would bring.